a Rudy Poo candy ass.
Seems I got a new candy ass. Her name is Caitlyn Jenner. Now, in the offset, I want to make something very clear to everyone here. I am not anti-LGBTQ. If they're Americans and they follow the rules, follow the law, I should say, excuse me, I got no beef. And I know, and I'm not going to use the excuse of, I know a lot of people who are gay, lesbian, or transgender, or transsexual. I'm not going to use that excuse. But I do know. But this particular case with Caitlyn Jenner is really disturbing to me. I'll get to that in a few moments, but let's get some background on her. She was actually born Bruce Jenner. Now, in case you know the story about him, he actually won the gold medal in the Pan American Games in Mexico City in '75, and a gold medal in the Olympic Games in 1976 in Montreal for the decathlon. This guy was a born athlete. He got the standard treatment you give a gold medalist and everything, so that was it. The real reason why he became this huge celebrity is obviously by his wife. I should probably say more closely, his third wife, Kris Kardashian. Now, obviously, if you know that last name, Kardashian, it's of course because of Robert Kardashian, one of the defense attorneys, heaven rest his soul, for O.J. Simpson during the murder trial of Nicole Brown and Ron Goldman. Of course, that was the only reason why the Kardashian name has been staying in the minds of everyone out there. And of course, the Kardashian kids. Of course, the cutest one, Kim, whom I had and I emphasize the word had, a crush on when we first find out who she was and the whole keeping up with the Kardashians thing. And of course, Bruce Jenner came along for the ride. Fact is, Bruce was probably the most sane person on that entire show. Well, I shouldn't say that, with Chloe being probably the most sane, but you get what I'm trying to say. In any case, the Kardashian name got him stardom all over again, almost in the same way that winning those 2 gold medals in the decathlon and the Pan American Games and the Olympics did as well. But as the fanfare ended for him, he decided to transition into a woman. Now again, I have no problem with this. I wouldn't say I have a problem with it as more as I'm curious about it. What makes a person think in their mind that they're trapped inside the wrong body? Maybe that's just me. Maybe I was raised is maybe how you're raised or how your thought process goes. Maybe it's just me. But to be honest with you, the one thing about Bruce's transition to Caitlyn is that it's seen as heroic to the point where the ESPYs give him the Arthur Ashe Courage Award. I'm not really 100% sure that she should have gotten this award, but to each his own. But the reason why I call Caitlyn a candy ass is because this woman is transgendered. And she's on the side of a political party that would see people like her killed, executed for what they are. I'm not being hyperbole about this. I'm telling the straight up truth. For example, a former GOP governor candidate named Robert Foster from the Mississippi, he actually tweeted about this. Some of y'all want to try to find political compromise with those who want to groom our school-aged children and pretend men are women, etc. I think they need to be lined up against the wall before a firing squad to be sent to an early judgment. unquote. And the thing is, Caitlyn Jenner is on their side. On their side of the very Republicans who want them dead. I just gave you a tweet. This tweet that this guy wants transgenders, the LGBTQ community as a whole. In March of 2023 at CPAC, one of the keynote speakers, a man named Michael Knowles, said this about transgenderism. You notice how he put that last part, ism, on the end of it, trying to say that it's an ideology, not the individual. Yeah, right.
There can be no middle way in dealing with transgenderism. It is all or nothing. If transgenderism is true, if men really can become women, then it's true for everybody of all ages. If transgenderism is false, as it is, if men really can't become women, as they cannot, then it's false for everybody too. And if it's false, then we should not indulge it, especially since that indulgence requires taking away the rights and customs of so many people. If it is false, then for the good of society, and especially for the good of the poor people who have fallen prey to this confusion, transgenderism must be eradicated from public life entirely. The whole preposterous ideology at every level.
Transgenderism must be eradicated. Now again, you notice that statement, ism, on transgenderism, like it's some sort of ideology or a belief. But we all know, and we can all read between the lines, he's talking about eradicating people. And then we come to the main man, Donald Trump, whose hand Caitlyn Jenner shook in this photo that Caitlyn reposted from Breitbart, saying that the only way to restore peace is to re-elect Trump. Here's the problem to that. Donald Trump has made his feelings very known about transgendered people, repeating the same lies that doctors are forcing kids to undergo sex reassignment surgeries and being fed pills to change their gender. Matter of fact, it's not me talking about this. It's Trump himself. What you're about to see is a video that he posted on January 31st, 2023, in which he makes these points very, very clear.
Gender insanity being pushed on our children is an act of child abuse. Very simple. Here's my plan to stop the chemical, physical, and emotional mutilation of our youth. On day one, I will revoke Joe Biden's cruel policies on so-called gender-affirming care. Ridiculous. A process that includes giving kids puberty blockers, mutating their physical appearance, and ultimately performing surgery on minor children. Can you believe this? I will sign a new executive order instructing every federal agency to cease all programs that promote the concept of sex and gender transition at any age. I will then ask Congress to permanently stop federal taxpayer dollars from being used to promote or pay for these procedures and pass a law prohibiting child sexual mutilation in all 50 states. It'll go very quickly. I will declare that any hospital or healthcare provider that participates in the chemical or physical mutilation of minor youth will no longer meet federal health and safety standards for Medicaid and Medicare and will be terminated from the program immediately. Furthermore, I will support the creation of a private right of action for victims to sue doctors who have unforgivably performed these procedures on minor children. The Department of Justice will investigate Big Pharma and the big hospital networks to determine whether they have deliberately covered up horrific long-term side effects of sex transitions in order to get rich at the expense of vulnerable patients, in this case, very vulnerable. We will also investigate whether Big Pharma or others have illegally marketed hormones and puberty blockers, which are in no way licensed or approved for this use. My Department of Education will inform states and school districts that if any teacher or school official suggests to a child that they could be trapped in the wrong body, they will be faced with severe consequences, including potential civil rights violations for sex discrimination and the elimination of federal funding. As part of our new credentialing body for teachers, we will promote positive education about the nuclear family, the roles of mothers and fathers, and celebrating rather than erasing the things that make men and women different and unique. I will ask Congress to pass a bill establishing that the only genders recognized by the United States government are male and female, and they are assigned at birth. The bill will also make clear that Title IX prohibits men from participating in women's sports, and we will protect the rights of parents from being forced to allow their minor child to assume a gender which is new and an identity without the parent's consent. The identity will not be new, and it will not be without parental consent. No serious country should be telling its children that they were born with the wrong gender, a concept that was never heard of in all of human history. Nobody's ever heard of this, what's happening today. It was all when the radical left invented it just a few years ago. Under my leadership, this madness will end. Thank you very much.
First things first, I apologize for making you watch that buffoon, but it does show how much he's willing to invest in a lie to get reelected. But the truth of the matter is, I haven't heard a single doctor forcing children to undergo sex reassignment surgery. I haven't heard any school tell a boy in their class that your body is a mistake, or a girl that your body is a mistake, that you need to change. Everything that Donald Trump said there is a lie. And the worst part is Caitlyn Jenner is help pushing that lie, saying that we need to re-elect Trump. Caitlyn, you are supporting a man who has the support of people who want people like you dead, or in their words, eradicated. Why are you doing this? Is it your half-assed idea of trying to stay relevant, or trying to stay friends with Donald Trump? If it's the former, you need to find another way to be relevant. If it's the latter, you seriously need some kind of help. You are shaking hands with the man who his people want you dead. My advice to you, support someone else. But the thing is, when you refuse to speak out against these lies that Donald Trump laid out in that video, the evangelicals are laying out day in and day out about how transgenders and, matter of fact, the entire LGBTQ are nothing but criminals, nothing but rapists. I haven't yet seen a single statement from you speaking out against those lies, which means either you're too stupid to understand the lies, or you actually believe in those lies. That shows to me that you're nothing more than a hypocrite, a fool, a Trump whore, and more to the point, you are nothing more than
a Rudy Poo Candy ass.
CTP, know the truth, God bless. Peace to the left, justice to the way.